We've made it to episode 6 of Peacemaker. Let's talk about it. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back into JC's Movies, where you can see all kind of movie and TV shows with me, JC, particularly comedy, superhero, and horror genre. That's what's up my alley. So if it's up yours as well, be sure hit that subscribe button here on the channel. And definitely, if you're a fan of the Peacemaker series, we've been doing episode recaps every Friday following their Thursday night releases. And man, we got another good one we're going to dive into here momentarily when we talk about episode 6. It's one we've been waiting on, and it certainly didn't disappoint. So before we get into it, though, just a quick reminder, if you just take a second, hit that thumbs up button, help me out with that crazy YouTube algorithm, help us find other fans of Peacemaker, the DCU, and movies like yourself here. With that being said, no further ado, let's talk about it. Let's get into Ignorance is Chris, Season 2, Episode 6 of Peacemaker. All right, so where we left off last episode, we knew that the four friends, Adebayo, Vigilante, Harcourt, and Economos had the portal creator thing, the alien briefcase, silver briefcase looking thing, and that they planned to open it somewhere so they could go back and get Chris from the other dimension and bring him back to the main dimension. So early in the episode, we realized the place they decided to do this was at Vigilante's house, because Argus doesn't know Vigilante's secret identity, so they won't be able to detect that the portal's being opened there because they don't, have tabs on him in that way. So funny as hell, we get good comedy already. It's always usually is the case in these Peacemaker episodes. Is this one right from the jump? Comes with not Peacemaker shit. Vigilante and his mom, they had good comedy moments, but a little back and forth between those two. With him, she's following him down to the secret room, even though he's telling him not to. She's talking about how he told her Harcourt was his girlfriend, like all this crazy shit, because he said he makes up stuff so he can't tell her about the superhero stuff. And she said, "Okay, when y'all are done, y'all come back upstairs. I'll make sandwiches." That one had me rolling. That was pretty good, but they get in Vigilante's secret room where they're going to open the portal, and another great bit of comedy, because he opens the room and it looks like a damn police evidence room. He's got stacks of cash. We're talking like millions of dollars. He's got like pallets full of drugs and everything. And he's like, why do you turn this stuff in? He's like, well, I can't, because then there could be corrupt cops. They could use it. And he's like, why don't you just flush it down the toilet? He's like, the alligators, man. He said, the alligators will be junkies or whatever. And he's like, and then Adebayo's like, picks up a big wad of, hundreds, $10,000 stack probably. It's like, you just asked me to buy you food last week. He's like, I'm not going to spend this. This is blood money. And then he's leaning down doing something. You see Harcourt, Adebayo, and Economist loading up on that cash and shit. It's pretty funny. So anyway, they go, Adebayo knows how to set up the portal, so she sets it up in front of Vigilante's Beanie Baby closet, which is what he's concerned about in there, which is hilarious. And we know when this portal creates, because we've seen it happen before, right? It kind of creates like a big explosion or whatever, so they're all standing back away. But when it creates that explosion, it throws cocaine all over all of them, because where he's got that cocaine there, so they're all just covered in white cocaine as they enter the new dimension. And they look for the door, of course, with the Peacemaker helmets, because they know that's where they told them they would be. They find the Peacemaker helmets. They find the door. Of course, it's got the lock code on it. Economos can't hack it because it doesn't have any of the stuff, but Vigilante knows the code because he knows Peacemaker's dad's code, and it's the same one, and they're in. So they're in there, kind of just looking around that first room when they first come in, and Harcourt's talking, and Chris's brother Keith hears her, recognizes the voice, comes in like Amelia. The other friends jump and hide. Two of them in the closet, then two of them right there in another closet, I think, or in the bathroom, actually, because that's what her excuse is, because she slams Economist in the bathroom, and she's like, I took a shit in there. It's pretty bad, or something like that. That's pretty funny. So anyway, they go through a conversation. She says she's about to go to work, and he's like, I'm about to go to Argus now. You want me to give you a ride? And she's like, sure. Even though Adebayo and them were like telling her, no. She's like, sure. So she gets a ride with him down to Argus. So it leaves Economos, Adebayo, and Vigilante. And then Vigilante's like, I got to go find the other me in this universe. I got to question him. I got to know about him. So Vigilante takes off. So then it's Economos and Adebayo left at the house. Vigilante going to go find his other self. And Amelia, Harcourt, they're going to Argus. So they kind of all split up here. And then we flash back to the OG dimension, the main dimension, where Rick Flagg's, trying to locate Peacemaker, trying to locate Judo Master, Harcourt, Economos. He doesn't know where any of them are. But he knows that they have the portal, and the portal's important. So he goes and visits someone that he thinks can help him. And this is where we get our big cameo in episode 6. I think this is why James Gunn said this was an important episode among, I think, 8 as well, maybe even 7 too. I think maybe he said 6 through 8, but I knew 6 was where it started. And we get Nicholas Holtz, Lex Luthor. That's right, making a cameo here, fresh off a great performance in the Superman movie. Rick Flag visits Lex Luthor in jail, where we learn that Lex has been sentenced to 265 years for his crimes that we saw in the Superman movie. But he has a tracker that will track that portal and let Argus be able to find it. So he cuts a deal with them to be transferred to another prison. That's all we know of the deal. That's all that Rick Flag says, but I got a feeling there's a little something else in there too that we don't know about yet, and we'll probably find out at a later date. I'm sure he's still going to be in prison, but there's definitely something going on there. So after that, we go back to the other dimension where Chris comes in and confronts Amelia from the OG dimension, because what happens is when she shows up at Argus, the dog starts barking because she's got that cocaine on her still. So they think, oh, she's got drugs. We're going to have to check her. So they take her into a room to check her and to run a drug test on her, make sure she's clean. And while she's in there, they allow Peacemaker to come in there and talk to her. And then we get a heart-to-heart there where he finally tells her he's in love with her. And, of course, she already knew, as, you know, we all do that shit, right? But she says, are you going to come back with us or not? And he's like, I can't leave. You know, my brother's here. My dad's here. He's like, I even like the other you. And so that's kind of where that conversation leaves. Meanwhile, Vigilante shows up, sees himself, and just as you'd expect, Vigilante that's there loves it, and they're fucking going back and forth. And it's hilarious because, like, they're agreeing on everything. Like they're literally almost the same. It's so funny because a lot of these characters where we've seen the other one of themselves is like kind of an opposite, but Vigilante seems the same until it's revealed the Vigilante from the main dimensions like, Peacemaker's my best friend, and the other Vigilante's like, fucking Peacemaker, I hate that dude, that's my mortal enemy. We find out that he's a member of the Sons of Liberty in this universe, and that's kind of the last we see there. But I'm wondering if they're going to be fighting now when we come back to them, because that's kind of where we're left off with Vigilante visiting his other self. While that's going on, it's kind of how it's split up there. We talked about Chris and Harcourt at Argus. Adebayo and Economos are back at the house, you know, Chris's dad and brother's house there, and Eagly's there, and he's made a big mess trying to get the damn bologna or some shit out of the fridge, and so they're cleaning up that mess. And then they start kind of arguing a little bit. So Adebayo's like, I'm gonna go take a walk. She goes outside, takes a walk. Economos stays in the house, and of course, Chris's dad shows back up and shit during that. But when Adebayo goes walking outside of the house, this is where we get confirmation of what was a theory that had been going around online. I think I referenced it in a previous episode without going into what that theory was, but the theory that I'd heard was, and if you pay attention, because I went back and looked when I heard the theory, in the new dimension, if you look, there's no minorities. It's literally just all white people and shit. And I'm like, that can't be, you know, that's not done on accident. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's got to be on purpose. And especially knowing what we knew about Chris's dad from season 1, I'm like, oh shit. Because you were waiting on the other ball to drop with this dimension. You're like, this shit can't all be gravy. Something's up. And so that theory proves to be true, because Adebayo's out walking around. First, somebody drives by, sees her, they kind of slam on her brakes. They go up to a house. They start running out to the house, knocking on the door, telling them, look. And then that's when Chris's brother, Keith, pulls back up and passes her. And he's like, one got out. And then you see all these people come out of the house and start chasing Adebayo. So Adebayo is being chased by these people. We see the American flag, what looks like the American flag back at Argus, and where the stars should be, it's still the stars and stripes. It looks the same, but where the stars should be, it's a swastika. So this is a fucked up universe right here. This dimension is fucked. It's shitty. And now Chris is learning of that and going to learn it's not as good as he thought it once was. And so we end on cliffhangers yet again, because we got Vigilante and Vigilante right there, like we talked about, and he learns that Peacemaker's his enemy in this universe. We got back at Argus, we knew Chris and OG Harcourt were there, but guess who arrives as they're about to leave? The Harcourt of this universe. So she sees herself and she says, hey, that's not me. That's an imposter. Arrest her. That's the last we see of that scene. So that's a cliffhanger there. Then back at the house with Economos and Chris's dad, we see Chris's dad stab Economos in the hand, and he starts, you know, spewing shit, trying to save his life, saying, hey, Chris is here. It's not your Chris. He killed your son or whatever. And then we just kind of end with him on top of Economos, not knowing where that's going to go. Cliffhanger there. And of course, still the cliffhanger of Adebayo literally being chased down the street by a group of townspeople here in this universe. So shit is getting crazy as we end on cliffhangers with our characters in multiple different shitty situations across all four of the main characters here, the friend group, really. Plus, what's going back on in the main dimension where Argus is still after them and probably going to be able to locate the portal and all that stuff. So everything's going to come to a head here in these final couple episodes, and can't wait for it. Really enjoying this show so far. I think this episode, yet again, as it always does, gave you good comedy, but quite possibly as far as pushing the story forward and, exciting, unexpected things, maybe the best of the bunch so far. So I would rate this near the top of season 2 right now. Really excellent episode. Absolutely loved it. Can't wait to see where we go here to wrap up this season. It's going to be really important for the DCU, man, and I'm excited as hell. Let's go. Can't wait to get back next Friday, recap another Peacemaker episode with you guys. But that's what I have for this one. But those are just my thoughts. Would love to hear yours. Drop them in the comment section down below. Really appreciate those interactions as I continue to try and grow the JC's Movies community here on YouTube. And if you want to be a part of that, if you're a fan of the DCU, we'll be covering it here. If you're a fan of comedy movies, we cover a lot of those here, and horror movies as well. Especially my guy Michael Myers, Halloween. That's my go-to. But that's kind of what's up my alley. And if you enjoy that type of stuff, you want to get these Peacemaker videos directly into your feed, just be sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you can do that and have this right there on your channel. When you pop up your YouTube, have it right in your subscription feed. Appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys tuning into this one, and I will catch you on the next one.